to enter into Lasso. Alright? Well, there's a lot. So one thing that I find is one of the places that I like to use Lasso a lot is typically when someone tries to stand up in my guard. Right? Typically I have two sleeves. Nice sleeves. I'll have like collar sleeve of some kind, and they start standing up. Right? Now obviously if you've got a lot of different options here, I can drop. I have my Dela Riva. Right? For me, I like going a lot of collar sleeves, single sleeves. Right? But maybe that's not your style. Alright? If someone stands up in your guard, they're gonna start looking to outside pass. So they're gonna break and they're gonna either knee cut or they're gonna outside pass. Most people when they stand break, they try to go to the outside. Outside passing is a lot easier, alright, to do. So when I feel him stand up in my guard, I'll because I know his hands are gonna be on me trying to control my hips. So when he's gonna set this up, whether I had collar sleeve, right, I won't be able to get back, he's gonna stand it up, I'll drop down to that second sleeve. Alright? Because now I know, alright, that I'm controlling his arm. Alright, it's gonna make it a lot harder because if he was to break my guard, if I didn't have good control here, he pins that leg, steps over, right? And now he can start passing into the knee cut, or I got a knee shield here, so he'll probably pass me outside. Right? But I have no control of that arm. I can't control where he's going to go. If I have control of both sleeves, even though he's got a knee cut, right, I can put that spider hook in. Right? So I'm able to control the distance. Does that make sense to everybody? Have I lost anybody yet? Sweet. Alright, so the stance. Now there's two different ways. I personally find that pressing into the hip I find it's easier for distance control because I can really push and stretch and start leaning to that side. There's a variation where you do the same thing, but you go with a spider hook. Right? I'll let you guys pick if you want to go spider hook, right, and shift your hips off to that side, or if you want to go feet to the hips, extend, and as I extend, I'm going to lean to that side so that my opposite hip is up in the air, right, as I'm pulling. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, kick, bring my leg out and through. And I need to feed it all the way through. So I'm going to hook my feet on like the back of his ribs here. And now I'm going to coil myself in. So I'm going to glue this elbow to my hip, right, as I'm pulling. And I don't just glue my elbow loosely. I pull. So I'm constantly pulling the whole time. I need to make sure this hand stays past the plane of my thigh. Right? If he's here, right, he can wrist exactly. He'll start wrist rolling out, and at this point I have to let go and try something different. Right? So I don't allow him to wrist roll out. So I drop, pull up, and now I'm going to coil myself in by shifting my hips. Right? My left hip is in the air. I'm going to shift so that my right hip is kind of more up in the air. And I can press on his hip here to help bring myself in. See my right hip's up? Not like way up in the air, but it's just enough. My elbow's glued. Did anybody see what happened to Luis's posture when I switched my hips? Right, we're here, pretty square. Right, when I shift, I'm breaking him down towards the side. Right, so I planted my hip on the mat. Foot, I'm hooking nice and strong, I'm pulling, right, and I'm also flaring this knee out. Right? I don't just leave my leg limp here. Right? I'm flaring this knee just enough to put tension in the crook of his bicep right there. Right? He'll feel the middle of my shin. Right? It should feel a little uncomfortable, not like bicep slicer, like, oh, I gotta tap out knee. Right? But it should be uncomfortable and annoying. Luis, is that uncomfortable? A little bit? Good. So here. Now, we're not done yet. Right, we're almost there. Now, to prevent him from just bailing out, right, and backing ways away, backing all the way out, and then trying to get around this leg, right, and start smashing me, which is a big risk if I don't control properly, right? I'm going to throw a Dela Riva hook in to prevent this leg from backstepping, just so that I can let go of the sleeve and find the cuff of his pants. And this is where we'll stop. right? Because now I've got control of both sides of Luis's body. I've got my lasso controlling his right, and I've got my De La Riva controlling his left. Right? He has a free hand, right? But it doesn't mean that he's just going to immediately pass because he has a free hand and I'm not isolated. Right? If he tries to push my De La Riva hook off, right? I just put my foot back to his hip and put my hook back in. Right? If he tries to go ahead and kill my hook any way you want. Right? I can go to his bicep. I can go to his shoulder. Right? Tim, I know you were at the seminar. Nice. Start going to single leg X. This is what we're going to end up building to is right here. Right? So you can see I have options because I control the pants. Without that, say I've got sleeve, right? I throw my De La Riva hook in, right? And he can still clear this without using his hands. Right? Put my hook in, he just keeps clearing it. Right? I don't have as many options now. He's going to back that leg away. And now my game has completely been limited. Does that make sense to everybody?
Just that De La Riva was far superior than the traditional way then.
Yeah, after talking with Matt about it, she likes it because it prevents them from disengaging from the guard. Right? Because that's one of the big one of the big dangers with lasso, and this is what I try to force into when I get through the lasso, is I try to kill this hook. Right? By getting the see how far away my hips are? Look at Luis's leg. Right? He's overextended, he's reaching, trying to find guard. But if I slow, get my hip here, connect, right? And I can start leaning heavy towards his head and look at his hips up. Yeah, he's got a lasso grip still, but who do you really think is in control here? It's not really Luis. Yeah, like he could try to bicep slice with me, right? But I'm in a really strong position to just get that head control, right? And then go for knee on belly and use that to try and get myself right, and then I'm completely out. Not only have I escaped the lasso, but I also pass. So by controlling the pants with that De La Riva hook, alright, I'm here. Go ahead and try to pass any way you want. I'm always getting that hit to the outside of his legs and then put my De La Riva hook back in and stall him out. Right? I wasn't trying to sweep, but at any point there, I could have entered into a variation of a sweep, right, and put it down. Right? So that's why that De La Riva hook is really important. Right? It's something that I never thought about really. I always learned just traditional lasso spider. Right? That's pretty much how I ever learned lasso guard, but playing it with De La Riva, I found that it's way stronger. And it gives you more variety of what to enter into, right? Especially because single leg X and X guard, which is what we're going to go into today, are just so dominant in jiu-jitsu. They have been for really since the Marcelo Garcia era, right? Which was almost 15 years ago, and it hasn't really changed. It's such a strong position. So we're going to build off the lasso into lasso X, right? So this is kind of get like a 2-for-1 special. Because at any point you can bail on the lasso. X guard. Right? Or if you don't want to go for X guard, you can bail out of the X guard and go for your traditional lasso sweep. So you have a lot more variety. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll enter it one more time. So, these are my closed guard. Maybe I have collar sleeve, whatever it is. I feel him controlling my hips to stand up. Right? I don't want to have like a weak connection here where he pushes my hips down, gets that knee in the center. Right? And now he starts setting up a pass and I'm already 2 steps behind. Right? So to kind of beat him to it, when I feel him control my hips and actually start standing up, I'll get that double sleeve. Because now here I can drop my hips on my terms by releasing my guard and then finding my feet on the hips. Right? Yes, we have all sorts of balloon sweep options, the helicopter arm bars. I can shoot up in a triangle. I have all these options. So let's just say we don't feel confident in shooting for the submission. Right? They start bailing their hips back a little bit, so I can't balloon sweep them or helicopter armbar them. Right? The triangle feels a little bit low of a reach where he would just shut by. Alright? So that's why it's important. Plant the feet on the hips, extend that upside. Right? Notice I'm not pushing, I'm pulling. I want him extended and stretched out. Bring the leg outside, in, hook the right foot behind his ribs, elbow glued, palms up, making sure I'm pulling so that his hand stays past the plane of my thigh. Right? I never allow my hand to go here where he can wrist roll to the outside. Right? If it ever gets here, you have to bail to try to recapture it and then reset. Right? Or, right, if he gets to the outside, right, I can go taller and start playing a different game. So make sure we're pulling. So I pull, palm to the sky. If you don't like to put on the hip, you can play foot to the bicep. Just make sure you still cut that angle. I'm pulling and extending. And I shift my hip. Right? If you want to play the spider variation. Foot through. I don't punch this super deep and then try to retract it. I just get so my foot is hooking his upper ribs. Pinch my elbow. Right? And I can still press off this. Right? And cut my angle so my right hip is up instead of the left. Because from here I can still and then train to it. Or if we were playing the hip the whole time, I press into the hip. I coil myself in, breaking his posture down because of the control of the lasso. Throw the Dela Riva hook in, and when I put the hook in, I set it. I hook, and I'm kind of pulling him to me. I'm trying to bring my knee to my chest. That's less that I've got to reach. Fine. Or if that leg is back a little bit, and I put my foot barely, and now I start reaching, right? I start getting off balance, uncoils. So now Luis is in a good position here to just sprawl. So it's important. Look, hold to me, and then I've got my grips. And this is the end point. Alright? Just for the sake of drilling, because I don't want you guys to burn your hands out, please do not squeeze the deck grip. Save that for positionals. I want you still pulling, right? But have a comfortable grip. Make sure you're rotating every like 2 minutes or every like 2 reps, so you can give your hands a break. Okay? Lasso it's a lot on your grip strength when you're not used to it. When you're not used to it. Okay? So if you guys while your partner's when you guys are taking a break, whatever, one thing you can do to kind of loosen your hands up, get the blood flowing, just grab your collars. Just squeeze 4 or 5 times, get the blood flowing back in your hands again. Any questions? Anybody need to see it again? Cool. 3, 2, 1.